Sorry about that. I got caught up on an episode of Judge Judy.
Oh my god.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us on yet another steaming hot edition of Cup of Joe's. I'm your host, Joe Brown, joined by my best friend, Joe Perrian. And
what's up,
Joe? It's been a bit, but we're hoping to come back. It's June. You know, there's no E3 this year, but there is a lot of gaming news that comes out in June, and we are in a very important moment in time, Joe. Because this is the last couple days. This is the world before Mario Strikers, and then next week will be the world after Mario Strikers, and I'm excited to see how the world changes forever.
You mean only for you? The world's only going to change for you.
Listen, you can make a guild. You can choose, your colors of your jerseys and stuff. It's going to be a good time, Joe. Anyway, so
we'll see about that.
So I know I'm gonna stream it this weekend. You're gonna watch, okay? It's gonna be fun. We have other gaming news to discuss, though, for more important things happening.
Large news for all
in the gaming world. So we got a couple things. Obviously, some Pokemon happened last week, which we'll touch on. The new.
Boom.
We'll also talk about the PlayStation State of Play that happened last week, with a lot of focusing on the specific games that we're really interested in that they showed during that event. But where we're going to start here, Joe, is we got to call out the internet.
Yes,
we have to declare,
drag them, Joseph,
once and for all, that the internet is wrong, and it's oftentimes wrong. Because all I've seen is hatred on Sonic Frontiers on the internet. Calling it trash, calling it looking awful, like, looks like a PS2 game, like, all this nonsense about. And Joe and I think Sonic Frontiers looks really cool. We think it looks really fun.
Looks like it's going to be popping when Sonic gets a hopping. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be jumping. He's gonna be popping those little things that he was doing in the game. Come on.
So all right. So let's start there. Sonic Frontiers IGN had a 7-minute gameplay, showcase or whatever, and then he made another video.
Yeah, but he played it from what he said. It sounded like for 4 hours.
Right.
So
and then this week they released a first opinion or whatever video about his thoughts on playing it. So. We have some tangible evidence, Joe, that the guy who was he's the one who played it for 4 hours. And he's like, yeah, it was an early build, and yeah, some of the bosses had bugs, but visually it looked awesome.
Yeah, it looked really good. It looked the guy also stated, because I think everybody's talking about how it's it looks so there's stuff loading in, nothing looks blah 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 blah.
That's how it sounds.
It's the internet. That's literally what the internet sounds like.
True.
But he states in it that he was playing an early build of the game, not the recent build, an earlier build of the game.
Right.
So it makes sense that it doesn't look polished. It makes sense that things are popping in, that are rendering into the screen and your visual your visual settings. It makes sense, but the game ran still pretty good. The game ran better than most games run on other people's computers. The game probably ran better than on Joe Brown's computer if he was to run Dying Light 2 on high settings. The game they probably would have looked the same. They would have looked the same.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that So, we cannot beat around the bush. It is very heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild. You can't say it takes notes or inspiration. It is literally Sonic Breath of the Wild. So, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Obviously, it's a successful formula that a lot of other companies have, started to copy. But the difference is what hurts Sonic is Sega does not have the track record that Nintendo has of quality games, especially when it comes to Sonic. And two, they developed Breath of the Wild for like 6 years, and it got delayed to 2017 when it was supposed to be a Wii U title so that it could be a Switch launch title. Like, so it's just, there's no way Sega has been making Sonic Frontiers for the last 6 years because they've been making all the other awful games at the same time. You know, it's just not possible.
Yes, but I feel like at this point in time, it's easier to make something like that now than it was back then, because that was groundbreaking. Now we're just taking something and we're adapting it.
Right.
And
you know what works.
Yeah, you know what works, you know what doesn't. The game looks like a blend from what it looks like. The game looks like a blend between Breath of the Wild and Death Stranding. Not by gameplay in any sense. The gameplay definitely is taken off of Breath of the Wild, but like in like the way that everything looks visually, it's like these big open fields, big towers, big things to explore. But like it has that realistic aspect of Death Stranding, and then the exploration and puzzles comes from Breath of the Wild. Put that together and you have Sonic Frontier. But it's not open world as it was stated in the video that we watched from IGN. It is, as they refer to it, opened zone. So I believe what's going to happen is that you will have these opened sandbox areas that you go from place to place. So you get like I think it's gonna maybe be like the level. So it's like zone 1, Green Hill Zone, and then like we're just like,
that's exactly what the guy was saying. Was it's not like it, like I assume it's not like Breath of the Wild where like you leave the thing and do the half-hour tutorial and then you can fight Ganon if you wanted to. Like that's what the speedrunners do. Like I don't believe that's how Sonic Frontiers is going to operate. Like, they're going to have Green Hill Zone, but it's now 3D instead of 2D. So you have multiple ways of getting through the area, but in a 3D environment instead of 2D. So it still appeases us visually, because like when we were watching it, Joe, I was like, this seems like it could just be fun to run around in and do fun stuff, like how Breath of the Wild was. You know, like it doesn't. I don't need to play exactly the golden path at all times. Like if I see something off in the distance, or I could just have fun like GTA style screwing around, running on hills. You know what I mean? Like it's
running up walls.
Exactly. There's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things that you can do in this game. So I do think that personally, I do think that this game will be delayed until 2023.
Really?
That is my hot take for this game. That because it's on the cusp. I think it was like it's a December 2022 or holidays.
It's a holiday 2022.
2022. I have a feeling that Sega is going to try. At least I'm praying to God that they're going to do this. Try to make this right and make it a great game, and they will delay it into 2023, but I feel like it's going to be a spring release. Like we'll get it April, May, but I don't think we're getting it this year.
I don't know. I mean, I respect your hot take. I think it's definitely plausible, but it's I don't know if Sega's quality control is as big as other companies compared to the Sonic games they release. You know, don't have the greatest track record of delaying stuff because they want to hit, you know, whatever their quarterly numbers on Sonic things.
I feel like Aaron Hansen can be their best quality controller if you just give that game to that boy and he'll tell you everything that's wrong with it.
Have you been seeing his Twitter posts with the? I'm sure he does it on other platforms too, with the Chad filters.
No. Oh yes. Yeah. Him and Dan. Yeah.
Where they make him just so unbelievably hot.
It was really.
It's acting like it's funny. The natural. Oh my god, it's so funny.
Very funny. I love it. It's very funny. But that's my hot take. Definitely coming out next year.
I'm gonna say it releases this holiday.
And unless they show me within the next few months a up-to-date build of the game and it looks great, my mind is set. After seeing what I saw, my mind is set on them delaying it until 2023.
Well,
maybe even like an early January, late January, early February release. Like that's where I'm sticking it.
It could happen, but
Yeah, it could happen.
let's hope
Now,
it comes out this holiday.
yeah, now I'm
Now
gonna
that you're not
take
playing Starfield this holiday, you can play Sonic Frontiers.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna take Sonic. I'm gonna throw him into his time slot in the holiday season. We're gonna move on and we're gonna talk about the next big thing for me, Joseph.
What's
Or
that?
maybe we'll talk about the two next big things for me.
Okay,
Because
enlighten me.
I'm gonna bleed them in. So I don't know if you heard this is like considered not considered to be like one of the greatest games ever and like have the greatest mechanics and stuff like that. But like it I don't know if you've ever heard of this little indie game called Resident Evil 4. Well, they're remaking it by
Oh.
by a company that's called Cap.com. You know what I'm saying?
.com. They just sell
Well,
they sell hats. That's
Cat,
their
yeah,
website.
and
Cap.com.
this is the only game they've made. No, yeah, Capcom has officially announced the long rumored, long wanted, long waited Resident Evil 4 remake that will be dropping in March 2023. March 23rd, I believe, 2023. Now,
They're kind of popping these remake. They're gonna run out of things to remake pretty soon.
well, to be honest, they should definitely remake the first one in the way that they're doing it because the first one was one of the best ones, in my opinion. Um, they also have Resident Evil Zero, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil. They have several games they can remake before they get to 5 and 6, and then we're back caught
Then
up.
you're back at
But
7, yeah.
yeah, but they're also working, I believe, on Resident Evil 9 is still
Oh,
in the
for
works
sure.
as well.
Yeah.
Um, but from what I've read from several different articles about this drop, it looks like they will definitely like the when the original Resident Evil 4 was released, it was gearing more towards action because that's what was wanted during the time period of when that game released was more that was like the time period of Call of Duty, first person shooters, puzzles. No one really wanted these horror games that much anymore. But now it looks like we're going to go back to Resident Evil's full roots and we're going to shift the game into both being action and very horror heavy, which is something I'm very excited about because that game had the chance to be terrifying. There's a lot of scary parts in it, a lot of different like moving parts that could have like there's like a part where you have to run up a wall and avoid all these lasers. It's like one of the best parts of the game in my opinion because it's so much fun. There's a knife fight against an old comrade that you don't meet until this game. It's like a. I'm very excited to see it. It looks pretty. Leon looks amazing. Ashley looks better. Hopefully, her AI is also better. Because she was
Annoying.
a huge pain in the original game.
But then
I'm excited.
shouldn't they keep her a pain for the authentic remake experience?
Well, there's a difference between her being a pain in the sense of like her character being something, but it was more of a pain of like her screaming at you every 5 seconds and her running in a
Yeah.
different direction. It's like all that good
Because
stuff.
that'd be like if they remade Kingdom Hearts 1 and then Donald actually healed you in a timely fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
like,
well, that's not the game that I played.
Yeah, but you want it to be a better game,
Right.
which I feel like they might do.
So this is like, how do I say it? Like, when they started remaking, you know, the RE2 remake, then we had RE3, and then we've seen like Resident Evil 7 and 8, and like, this was the moment that everyone was waiting for, right? Kind
This
of
was the
like,
remake that people wanted.
like when Pokemon was doing like game remakes, like everyone was waiting till they got to Gen 4 with Diamond and Pearl. Like that was when it was like this was the anticipated moment. So that's how it is with RE4.
Yeah, like the drop, the way that the trailer is, you can tell that it was made for it to be like a suspenseful like kind of drop for it. But yeah, this is the one that people have been waiting for.
Okay, well I'm happy
Both
for
people
you,
who
Joe.
are diehard fans of the series and not diehard fans of the series.
And you're saying Sonic Frontiers is going to get delayed to around when Resident Evil 4 comes out. You're going to have to make a decision.
Well, I'm gonna buy both of them, but I'm gonna play one of them first, which is Resident Evil 4 remake, because I'll know most of the story to that and probably get through it quickly.
Well, there is a game upcoming that we're excited about, Joe, that you're not going to have to wait a long time to play.
Enlighten me.
And that is Stray, coming to PlayStation and PC in July, where you just play straight up as a cat, and there's no humans, and you're just vibing, and you're just being a cat, climbing things and doing stuff, and it looks awesome.
To be honest, I think the story to that game is you are trying to figure out what happened to all of the humans, while also getting along with the robotic figures that are moving around the city. Because I believe any organic type of being scares the robots off from what we saw in the trailer. Like, remember the cat starts going down the alley and all the red lights are blaring and everybody's running away from the cat. I think that's going to be a heavily implemented thing in that game. But it looks really fun. They announced it back in like 2019, I think. They showed bits and pieces of it, but it looks chef's kiss.
Yeah, it looks really good. I also, from Annapurna Interactive, who's, the film studio that started making games a few years ago, and they always make very artistic or creative games. So, like, you're not just getting a cookie cutter experience from Annapurna, like, you're getting an original thing. Because, like, how often do you play as just a straight up cat? Not like a cat, like, character that has cat features or whatever, just a straight up cat chilling in the real world, and it's the main character. Like, it's a very creative concept.
Yes, exactly. And for everybody being like, well, I don't know if I want to get it. It's $30 on Steam at the moment for pre-order. It's out on sale on Steam right now.
And it's also included in the PS Plus extra shenanigans. Remember, they made all like the different tiers of.
It is PS also Plus. Included in the PS Plus.
Yeah.
I'm searching whether or not it'll be on Xbox. I have a feeling it won't.
I don't think so. Yeah, this article only says PlayStation and PC on July 19th.
Yeah, which is fine. But yeah, so there you have it. There you have it, folks.
Now, on to the next game we were excited about from the state of play from PlayStation. Street Fighter 6 finally got its gameplay reveal trailer. Like, I forget, I want to say it was January, it might have been February. There was just this little like teaser, like little 10-second thing that had Ryu and Luke like kind of silhouettes, like nothing crazy, you just knew. And then they announced Street Fighter, like they had the logo for Street Fighter 6. This is the first time we actually got gameplay. We got like the world being explored, and there's actually been a lot of stuff going on. So you found we know of 4 of the characters: Luke, Ryu, Chun-Li, and Jamie. And Jamie's this new fighter who is a drunken kung fu master who actually drinks throughout the match, and the more he drinks, the stronger he gets. So that's a pretty cool mechanic. But then like the gameplay, like they showed, the art style is very different from Street Fighter 5. Like if you watch Street Fighter 5, Joe, those characters have muscles on top of their muscles on top of their muscles, and it looks very like inhuman because of how like people's thighs are like have their own like inner muscle structure. Like it looks very uncomfortable is what Street Fighter 5's artwork looked. And Street Fighter 6 is actually in the RE engine, so Capcom is just using that engine for all of their games, which makes sense. If you already have the asset, why hire or why buy another one for a different game? And it actually looks more, I don't want to say real, but like more regular. And that's saying with the cartoon, like the Splatoon splashes on hit animations and whatever, it still looks more normal than what Street Fighter 5 looked like.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. I'm very excited to see how that game turns out. Because like, what was it? One of the moves had like ink in it and it stayed on the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like the ink happened, because there are some times where the camera angle change too, and I don't know if that's just like on a specific crush counter to like show that you confirmed a hit or something like that. So that can actually help out with like accessibility things, making it easier for new players to, you know, to learn combo strings if they have that visual confirmation to know that, all right, I hit this, you know, whatever crouching medium punch, now I can confirm into the next hit or whatever. The other thing for accessibility that's really nice is, this isn't shown in the trailer, it's just like from other stuff that Street Fighter's posted about, they actually have modern controls or classic controls. So classic is like the classic you know, with the fight stick and your car circle forwards and, you know, all the regular street, you know, fighting game nonsense with like a fight with a little fight pad and your joystick and whatever and your buttons. But then the modern mode is simplified controls. So I forget what it was, but it was like instead of having to do like core circle forward and, you know, whatever, to do a Shoryuken on Ryu, you can just do forward triangle to do a Shoryuken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's really helpful for accessibility and for new players who can't really get those traditional combos to work. And like, you know, even I struggle like trying to make sure that, oh, that was a half circle, but it only gave me like 7/8 of a circle on my input, so I don't get the half circle input. Like so like I think that's going to be very helpful for a lot of new players, is if they, I don't know the difference. I think it'd be a problem if the simplified controls are like vastly superior. Like I'm hoping that they're just both equally viable.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll, I think it's just like how you want to play the game. It's like inverted versus non-inverted type of deal where it's like,
Right.
I think people just like playing a certain way.
And then the other big thing that they revealed in the trailer, Joe, was the single player, like, I don't know if it's story mode, first person mode, like whatever. You have a custom create a character and he's walking through Metro City and he's punching boxes open to find loot, and you can fight random people on the street and stuff like that. So we've never really had that, especially in Street Fighter, but in most fighting games, it's kind of just you fight and if you better like fighting because that's all you can do. So I like that Capcom is taking this risk, because the hardcore Street Fighter fans they're either going to like it or they're not going to care, and they just do the regular fighting stuff like play online matches. But then you can get a lot of casuals in, like, oh, I can create my own character. I'm going to take Ryu's fireball, but then I'm going to take Chun-Li's leg kick, but then I'm going to take like, you know, whatever to create, like kind of like me Brawler or me Gunner or whatever in Smash.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Soul Calibur 6 also did this, I want to say.
I think they might just like make you pick how the character looks, but I think it'll all have the base set of like moves and special moves and stuff, unless they have like specific like what is it, classes you can be like, I don't know, maybe since they have the Jamie is the new character with the drunken art style, maybe you can do that. You can do,
you could be a zoner, or you could be like a grappler or like a brawler, right?
Yeah, you can just like kind of fall into one of the categories.
Yeah. And then the other thing that came out was the roster got leaked, and then Capcom actually tweeted about it, so like we know it's confirmed. There was a photo shown of I think it's 22 characters, and we don't know if that's including DLC or if that's before DLC. But their art actually looks really cool, except for Ken. Ken is getting memed on. I don't know if you've seen these memes, Joe, where Ken is kind of in like this big like bomber jacket and like sweatpants and has a beard, and he looks like homeless now. Like his wife took the kids, and you know, yeah. So Ken used to be this badass fighter, and now he's like, please give me money to catch the train, you know. So he's getting a little poor. All the Ken mains out there are feeling disappointed at this point, because for some story related reason, Ken is now is down on his luck.
Down on his luck. Poor old Ken.
Yeah, and still no Sea Viper, Joe. She was in Street Fighter 4, and I said when they first announced the game, I was talking to one of my friends. I said, "Give me Sea Viper, give me death," and I guess we know what happens now.
Definitely getting death now.
All right. What's the next one we were excited about? Oh, Final Fantasy 16. But here, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No, go for it. I'm just gonna tune out while you talk about Final Fantasy 16 for me.
That's
Just let
fine.
me.
Okay. So, this is the first time in, I think, 2 years. I'm pretty sure it was the state of play in 2022 in the summer, back when COVID was like in its height, that first showed off Final Fantasy 16. And so it's been over 2 years, and it's been kind of like radio silent. They did initially tell us 2022, but then now it has been confirmed to be summer 2023. I know a couple months ago we actually talked about it, that the game was getting delayed. Yoshida-san talked about why they were delaying it. Apparently, like, the story mode is done, and like you could theoretically play through the entire game right now, just unpolished. So I do wonder why in June of 2022, if like the whole story stuff is done, you need a whole year of polish. But I'm not complaining, because polish is good, right? We don't want bugs and all of that stuff. It seems like the summons, or I guess they're called icons in this Final Fantasy, but the summons like Bahamut and Ifrit and Titan and Garuda and stuff are much more prevalent to the story this time around, instead of being the additional powers that the characters use in the gameplay. So I wonder how, like, it seems like people are like dominants, or I forget what the word is, but they essentially have the power of the icons within them, and they can kind of turn themselves into Ifrit or turn themselves into Titan and stuff. So far we've only seen from the gameplay, which looks sick. It looks really cool. Like, it's combining a lot of aspects of the different Final Fantasy games. Like, has like it has Final Fantasy 7 remake elements in it. It has Final Fantasy 15 action, and like some of the HUD kind of looks like it, where you're changing your weapons and your class really quickly, the way that Noctis did, where like you just hit up on the D-pad or left on the D-pad or to change your weapon type. And then like the ATB system kind of looks like 13. Not turn-based, obviously, but so it's taking a lot of elements of the recent Final Fantasy games, which I think makes sense, because you're going to appeal to many of the different fans who like the different games in the series. But we've only seen the one main character, Clive. Like, we don't know if we have a party yet. And usually in Final Fantasy games, you have a party of people of interchangeable, Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Red 13, whatever. Like in Final Fantasy 15, you had Noctis and Prompto and Gladio, and so we have not seen a party confirmed yet for Clive. I wonder if this is more solo play, like the Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise that came out earlier this year, where even he had two teammates that you just like kind of passively controlled in the background. You never actually switched in between. You were just Jack. But overall, I think the game looks awesome. Obviously, it's the producer that like saved Final Fantasy 14 from its rubble, and turned it into like one of the greatest games of all time, like one of the most beloved games ever. So I'm nothing but positive, nothing but like hopeful that next summer this game is going to be incredible.
Yeah, you think so?
The only issue is that next summer, now you're dealing with a lot of stuff. You're dealing with God of War, you're dealing with Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever they end up calling that game. You're dealing with a lot of 2023 games that were 2022 that also got pushed back. So I don't know how that's going to impact Square's bottom line, or like their chances at Game of the Year and stuff like that. But I don't know if they care about it too much in that end. It looks awesome.
Yeah, but we don't have dates for any of those other games, do we? I didn't think we God of War had a...
No. I'm just saying, like, it's 2023. Like, that's all we know.
Oh, okay, yeah, 2023. It's all we know.
Yeah.
It's all we know. 2023. All we know. The future.
All right.
All right, so we got another game that we've never seen before that looked super cool.
Awesome.
If you're into rollerblading and shooting people.
Yeah. To be honest, who isn't, Joe?
Yeah, for real. If you're not into that, we're not friends. Rollerdrome is a new game that's coming out, where it's kind of like if you were to mix a first-person shooter with Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, but instead of a skateboard, you're on rollerblades. That's what you would have. It's
And
like
it's got like the wall grinding from like Jet Set Radio Future and stuff like that.
yeah, it also kind of artistically looks like that. Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
And this game is coming out in August of this year for PlayStation and for PC. And it's apparently from what the game trailer, it's a new blood sport that people go into to kill each other, and it's for entertainment of the masses, kind of like Gladiator. So this game looks fun and it looks beautiful at the same time, and I believe it's a female main character. And there's a lot of different enemies to fight through, and it's by a studio I think called Roll 7.
Yeah, they're the ones that made Ali Ali World, which was that indie skateboarding game. I don't know if that was last year or two. I can't remember the time frame.
It
so
also
this has
is
definitely up their alley. The skate-based gameplay is up their alley.
Yeah, it also has bullet time in it as well, which is kind of fun. You're doing sick tricks. You're just going off on people, and it looks really fun. If you guys should check out the trailer for it. It's called Rollerdrome. You can bounce stuff. Looks like you can bounce bullets off of walls in certain guns. You can break through glass windows while doing tricks. You can avoid explosions while going up in the air. If there's bosses, I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of guns that you can use. But this game looks incredibly fun, and it looks like a good time. So go check that out when it comes out in August of this year.
I also think, like, to me, the coolest shot was the girl went up backwards up the roller, the half pipe, or whatever it's called, and did like a backflip, and then on the way down did the slow motion thing and turned and shot one of the guys before she landed, and then landed the trick too. Like, so it seems like there's a lot of really cool seamless gameplay like that you can mix in between.
Yeah, a lot of bullet time type things that you can do and just like go from one to the other, stuff like that. It looks like a really fun game. So y'all should go check it out. Yeah. Well, Joe, it's time for the game that you noped right out of.
I noped definitely out of there. Yep.
This game is a horror game that I just informed Joe Brown that is based within the PUBG universe. So this game called the Callisto Protocol is within the lore of the PUBG universe lore. There is a website dedicated to the PUBG universe called, let me look it up, PUBGuniverse.com. And you can go into and learn all of the lore behind PUBG, as well as see that the Callisto Protocol, or Callisto Protocol is within their lore system. And this game kind of looks a little bit like, Dead Space.
Yeah.
It's a single player horror survival game where you're in a prison that is on something called a dead moon within space, and you are trying to get out of it alive. It looks really fun. It looks like there's going to be, once again, just like survival horror aspects with guns and weapons and different types of zombie-like enemies. It looks spooky. The whole point that they're trying to go with is they are trying to make this the scariest game of the next gen. When they announced this back in 2020, of the next gen consoles. Mm-hmm. They want this to be terrifying. So it's kind of holding up to it. It looks kind of scary, and I'm excited.
I mean, I remember
Joe Brown is not.
I remember my freshman year of college, my roommate was playing Dead Space 3 in our room with the lights off, with the TV at like 100 volume and everything. And it was an experience, I will say that. So if this can hold up to, it's the Dead Space developers, and if they can, kind of,
I don't know if it's the Dead Space developers, because Visceral Games did get destroyed.
Well, I don't know. I mean, on this Kotaku article, it says the Callisto Protocol, a very Dead Space-looking game from the creator of Dead Space.
Then never mind. Sorry. There we go.
So
even better, makes me feel even more excited for it, because the creator of Dead Space is making it. Oh my god,
There you
Do
go.
there is a sound in the game that they use it like scares you almost every single time because it's like a loud noise. The way they got it is they recorded a train stopping and they amped up the distortion and like did some other stuff, and it now just sounds like a spooky sound of
That's
some
pretty
I
cool.
can't. It's a very cool. They do very good work, and I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do with this. I'm also extremely excited because at some point the Dead Space remake is going to be coming out at one point. I think either this year or next year. They keep coming out with updates on it. It looks amazing. I'm excited for that too because Dead Space is a fantastic game. Also, Joe, if you thought the third one was spooky, you should see the first one.
No, I'm okay.
That one is spooky.
Okay, so let's recap from the state of play. What was to you the most exciting thing? Because that means you have to choose between Resident Evil 4 and Callisto Protocol.
Oh, it's Resident Evil 4. Definitely getting that confirmed. Amazing. I'm excited. It's less than a year away for me.
It's in your grasps.
It's in my grasp. I'm just waiting for the collector's edition to be announced so I can hop on the pre-order. But it's that, then like the Callisto, like my top 3 are going to be the Callisto Protocol, like Resident Evil 4, Callisto Protocol, and Stray. Because I'm excited for Stray too. I've been waiting for that game to come out. Those are my top picks for the state of play.
Okay.
What about you? What do you got?
I think so. I'm just kind of mulling it over here because you would think the obvious answer is Final Fantasy 16, but because we're still missing so much information on it, and that was the first thing we saw in 2 years, I still feel kind of like light. I still feel kind of in the dark about the situation. So for me, I actually think Street Fighter 6 is the thing I'm the most excited about, and that might be. It might not be fair because a lot of the excitement came from things outside of the 3-minute video. Like the video was cool in itself, and I loved the new art style and the showcasing the single player mode and everything like that. But a lot of it was like seeing the roster leaked, seeing the tweets that Capcom made about the simplified mode and the burst gauge or whatever they called it, like. So there was kind of additional information after the release of the video that made Street Fighter 6 my most anticipated of the videos we saw. So I'm not sure if that should count or not when it counts towards the state of play. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, Joe. What are you thinking?
So,
though?
I don't know. I'll say Street Fighter 6, then Final Fantasy 16, and then Stray as well as my third.
Okay. And then we're going to tack on Sonic into it, right?
But that's the thing, Sonic wasn't there, right? Sonic we
Fine.
watched on IGN, so.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
I mean, I'm more excited for Sonic than any of the games that were shown in the state of play, honestly. That looks awesome.
That's fair. I'm still more excited for Resident Evil 4, but I'm also excited for Sonic. I'm super pumped for it. Now, I think that it is only fair for you to start this conversation, Joseph. Okay. Please. What other big news have we received within the week?
So we finally, for the first time in months, have gotten news on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And boy, what a trailer it was. So first thing we learned is most important thing we learned is that the new professors are hot. That's the biggest deal.
Spicy.
Everybody's
got their they got their own OnlyFans. They got their own OnlyFans.
It's for everybody. You like girls, you like guys. You like both? You like both of these professors. They're very attractive. It seems like the lady professor, Professor Sada, I believe, is like kind of prehistoric, kind of like caveman-esque. Like she's wearing like old clothes, and it seems like there's a lot of parallels between like past and present within the visuals of the game, like futuristic and prehistoric, and then like apparently that is going to be a big aspect of it, is like the modern times versus embracing the future versus embracing tradition. It seems like it's going to be a big aspect to it. The best thing, Joe, literally how long have Pokemon fans been asking? It's kind of like how Legends Arceus was like, how long have Pokemon fans been asking for this type of game, and we got it. The other big thing we've all asked about is being able to do the gym trainers in whatever order you want, the gym leaders, right?
Oh, did we get that? I
And we
did not
have
see
that.
that.
You can do the gym leaders in whatever order you want. So I wonder how that's going to affect the open world and affect, like, do they have different teams based off of how many badges you have and stuff like that. But that's going to open the game a lot to different people. It's like, oh, I started with the grass gym, and then you can be like, oh, really? I started with the water gym, or whatever. So that's really cool. Then the other big thing is you saw with the 4 trainers all on like the same field together. Like you can go through the game with your friends, like running around and catching Pokemon and stuff. So that's a big adaptation to it, is that Pokemon has always been a single player game, and it still is, but like you can be in the world with your friends instead of just being in a Dynamax raid battle with them. Like you can be on the same Route 5 or whatever and running and catching and trying to catch Lechonks, right?
That spicy pig.
So I do want to warn everybody, because I'm old enough to remember 3 years ago, Joe, when Sword and Shield was announced. A lot of people seem to not be old enough. They seem to have forgotten do you remember in Sword and Shield when they first announced Wooloo, the new sheep Pokemon, right? Everybody and their mother lost their minds about how awesome Wooloo was. Like my friend Brendan turned his Twitter into a Wooloo Stan account. Like that's how much he loved Wooloo, and everyone was just going crazy. Wooloo's the greatest thing that's ever existed. And then what happened, Joe?
It was shit.
Wooloo was fine. They showed its evolution of Dubwool, who is universally panned as not a cool Pokemon. Did not live up to Wooloo's standards. So with Lechonk, I just want to warn everybody that just because Lechonk is cool doesn't mean its final evolution is going to be cool, right?
Right.
Because we've been here before. So can we please slow our roll on the Lechonk Stan accounts? Because you don't know what it's going to... It's the same as you Sobble... I almost cursed. You Sobble people, like you, Joe, who thought Sobble was the greatest thing since sliced bread with how cute it was, and it was crying, and oh my god, that's me, I'm depressed, and, I love Sobble. And everyone who committed to Sobble, and then what happened, Joe? Inteleon came out, and he looked like a perverted James Bond, and looked nowhere near as cool as Cinderace and Rillaboom.
I still liked it, so I don't know what you're...
So I'm just saying, everybody, let's calm down on the Lechonk hype.
Don't be disensembled again, my boy.
Joe is holding a knife in the webcam right now. I mean, he'd have to be a pretty good stab to hit me through the computer, but Also, and then the other Pokemon that was shown off.
Check your mailbox, Joe.
Was Smoliv, who is a small olive. If you didn't understand the pun, Joe.
We're running out of Pokemon.
Yeah, we sure are. I have no idea why he is a grass normal type. If he's just a small olive, he should just be a grass type. So I'm guessing it's probably going to have to do something with his evolutions. And then, of course, the 2 legendaries were revealed. And there was a red guy for the Scarlet game. And there was a violet guy for the violet game. And, like, they kind of looked like motorcycles. I don't know if you... paid attention to it, Joe. One has a tire in his chest.
One has a tire in his chest, and one has jet engines for feet.
Right. So I don't know if they're going to be our new ride Pokemon or something. Once we catch them, you can ride around the open world.
But then, are you going to get them relatively soon in the game, or are they going to be at the end of the game?
I don't know. I would assume at the end of the game that'd be just kind of a bonus, like in the Breath of the Wild DLC when you got the motorcycle. It's you didn't have the motorcycle for the whole game. You had to walk around everywhere. But then once you beat it and beat the DLC, then you got the, kind of the reward for doing with the motorcycle, Yeah,
I got you.
So, I don't know. I'm interested in seeing what their typing is, because there's been a lot of speculation of Dragon Electric or Dragon Fire. And it's we literally... have gotten that back in Black and White. We had Zekrom and Reshiram that were Dragon Electric and Dragon Fire, so I would like them to be new typings, but they are kind of running out of legendary typings if everything like wants to be a dragon, you're kind of running out on stuff. But yeah, overall, I don't know. I think it was pretty fun. I am a little disappointed we did not see the game mechanic, because this time, literally this June, 3 years ago, was when they revealed Dynamax. Like Joe Merrick or Cerebi, who's like the big Pokemon like news source outlet, posted a video that said, "This was the June Pokemon Presents video 3 years ago for Sword and Shield. Put your expectations towards this level of what they showed." And in that video, it was introducing Dynamax, and we did not get the battle mechanic of this generation in this trailer for Scarlet Violet.
Yeah. Could they put out another one this month before the end of the month? Because
I don't know. I mean, Pokemon doesn't do that very often. I guess they could, but you know, they've waited 4 months to show us Smoliv and Lechonk, and
wait, couldn't it be the mechanic be that it's co-op?
Yeah,
they
but usually
that.
it's usually a battle system.
That's a battle thing. I bet you can co-op.
You're running around in the same world, but it's not a Z move. It's not a Mega. You get what I mean?
What happens if they just bring back Megas?
I would love that. I think Megas are one of the best things. I think Megas saved competitive VGC with how awesome they were. They got a lot of people to play VGC, myself included, that did not enjoy playing it before. So I would love if they brought Megas back. And it is like, you know, Spain and France are kind of close, right? Obviously both being in Europe, but that was also the expectation with Sword and Shield being in England, that England's also pretty close to France, right? There's like a 20 miles of water between those two countries, and they did not have any Kalos, you know, connection whatsoever. But you know, Spain is also right by France.
Spain is literally right next to France, I think.
No, I know, but England is literally a 20-minute. Like you saw Dunkirk, right? Like England is literally 20 miles off the water of France's coast.
Yeah, but that's different from being like, oh, we're neighbors, to being like, oh, I live the next town over. You know, kind of like.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying it's not like it was super far away. It was within a reasonable distance that they could have done. I would love Megas, but I don't know. You have any thoughts on the trailer, Joe?
It was amazing. I had a really good time. I just want to see more of those starter Pokemon, to be completely honest.
Yeah, we didn't even get the middle evolutions, so we're still stuck on the babies.
Yeah, but they're still cute. The fire type is still freaking me out. It looks.
Fuecoco, he's my boy.
Yeah. Ugh, you and your fire types, bro.
I'm a fire type loyalist through and through. I'm sorry.
Even if they're trash, you're just like, oh, the best.
That's the best part. And when you choose the fire types, they're hardly ever trash. Okay, that's a lie. But
I was like, you want to take that back?
Listen, as long as Fuecoco doesn't end up firefighting for literally no reason, then,
oh my God,
then I'll be happy.
Oh man, I hope I see that meme again of someone did last for Sword and Shield, where it was like all the evolution was just like the Pokemon just getting more buff, and there were just like 3 buff dudes,
and then they were all fighting types.
Yeah, it started off like their element fighting, and then it was just fighting,
dual fighting types. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was really funny. It was it was so stupid, but it was good.
So yeah, all right, and then the release date is November 18th. So yeah.
Yes,
so,
we did get a release date. I forgot about that.
Take us home, Joe.
All right, I'm sorry. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us on this great episode of Cup of Joe's. It's been a minute. Sorry that it's been so long. I had a conference. Joe was in a different country and got kidnapped for a little bit. I also got a new puppy, so that's been another crazy thing that I've been dealing with. I only slept 4 hours last night, so that's cool. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get back to getting on that grind again. But like I was about to say, I have been your host, Joe Perrion, accompanied by my good friend, best friend, Joe Brown.
Good correction.
And we will see you on the next episode of Cup of Joe's in 2 years. Bye!